He'd be sitting where he always sat when I came home from school and only spare a brief glance at me before turning back to the screen. But this very same grandpa had switched off the TV and was asking Shoko all sorts of questions. His voice sounded confident when he used Japanese. Even if he had learned it from harsh Japanese instructors, it was the only foreign language he could speak. My family didn't talk much during meals. We would have the TV on, out of habit, and watch soap operas or the news while eating as quickly as possible. But as soon as Shoko turned up, Grandpa started jabbering away in Japanese and chuckled so often that I couldn't squeeze a word into the conversation. It was the first time I'd ever seen him talk or laugh so much. Shoko knelt on the floor and very politely listened to Grandpa with a smile. Just as when I'd seen her bashful expression in class, I felt something was off about her smile. I sensed that she wasn't smiling because she was truly pleased, nor nodding because she really sympathized. The gestures were simply meant to make the other person feel comfortable. Now and then, Grandpa pointed at me and cackled in Shoko's presence. I asked her what he was on about, and she said he was telling her funny stories about me. Like the time I forgot to bring my backpack to school and had to come back home, or the time I peed my pants listening to a ghost story, stupid stuff like that. Grandpa had been furious with my accidents when they occurred, so I had no idea why he was recounting them as if they were fun memories we shared. Shoko seemed to find it easier to communicate with Grandpa than with me. There were many things we couldn't talk about in English, but she and Grandpa could talk about pretty much anything in Japanese. Grandpa asked Shoko to call him Mr. Kim. He said he wanted to be a friend, not old and boring like some school principal. It was an evening in July, shortly before summer break. Shoko and I were chatting as we strolled along a nearby river. She said my family members were kind and funny. I didn't reply. My English was limited, but I wanted to show her that I liked her. I linked my arm with hers. Shoko stopped in her tracks and looked at me, her face stiffening. She said formally in English, "I am heterosexual. I am not attracted to you sexually, or to any other girls. I like boys." A little taken aback, I told her I wasn't attracted to her either, and explained that linking arms was a common way to display affection between friends here, so she shouldn't take it the wrong way. She didn't quite believe me, but understood what I meant when she saw hordes of girls arm in arm at school the next day. Shoko said she lived with her aunt and grandfather. That was why my family didn't feel like strangers to her. If anything, she felt at home. Her aunt was the real head of the family, but wasn't around much because her job involved frequent travel. Her grandfather treated her like a princess, convinced that she was the prettiest and smartest girl in the world. I'm his religion, his whole world. Every time I remember that, I want to die. She said that on rainy days, when her grandfather came out to meet her with an umbrella, she climbed over the fence into her house to avoid running into him. Once, when he used a portion of what little money he had to buy her new clothes, she chucked them in the trash can still wrapped. The thought of her grandfather seeing her as some kind of girlfriend turned her stomach. As soon as she was done with high school, she would take off to Tokyo and never set foot in her hometown again. Then I'll give you my grandpa. Mine thinks I'm the dumbest girl in the world and nags at me to lose weight every time he sees me. He's never bought me so much as a pack of gum, let alone clothes. Shoko smiled quietly at me. It was a pleasant but cold smile, like she was a grown-up dealing with a silly little kid. The house teemed with a curious liveliness during our week with Shoko. Grandpa went to the grocery store to buy watermelon after Shoko mentioned she liked the fruit. Mom set a goal to learn a new language, whether it was English or Japanese. We had trilingual conversations over a plate of rice balls made by Shoko. Say cheese! Shoko loaded film into her Pentax camera and snapped the three of us munching watermelon. And like paparazzi, she took pictures of Mom cooking dinner and Grandpa cleaning the living room. While Mom and Grandpa were startled, they didn't seem to mind the attention and laughed it off. I barely recognized this smiling, twinkly-eyed Mom and chatty Grandpa. I might have easily believed them to be good adults if they were strangers I met on the street.